Hello.
Hello.
Where's Andy gone?
I don't know. I wish I knew.
Okay.
I wish I knew.
It's hard to know.
He said start without him.
Okay. Well, shall I call it curry chicken or curried not kitten or what?
I can hear myself.
Oh, have I not muted?
Oh no, actually no, it's me. Don't worry. It's me.
I've muted the mic on the other thing.
Yeah. Let's just try and stall for time whilst you put some I wonder if anyone would notice.
All right.
It's funny.
Perfect.
Just try to stall for time. And then the editor can just start.
So did Andy say what happened?
I don't know.
Sound not working, guys. I wasn't even here, so I have no idea what was happening.
Just trying. Sorry, we thought we'd come on a bit, like go live to prove that we are here and that we
Go
are
for it.
waiting for.
Oh, we are live.
We are. Is that a spare one? Did you order? Did you just order one to? Given an hour, that's going to
I'm
be like.
eating the other side of the plate.
Oh,
That's my
okay.
fork.
Hey Dom, how you doing? Oh, you're
Yes.
encroaching. It was looking good. We can
I'm
see
encroaching.
you. Yeah. If you look at the curry chickens corner, you can see you've pushed.
Oh, outrage! Outrage! I'll eat around. I'll just fiddle around with Curry's backside.
That's one way of
It's
looking
fine.
at it.
It's
I'm wearing a Christmas jumper in honor of Frank.
I'm wearing Bot Grinder's shirt in honor of nothing in particular. This is a really good biryani, by the way. There's a place called I think it's Mumbai Maska near me, which does just fantastic biryanis. I absolutely love it.
Hello, Tailspin. Hello, Dre Racer 101. Marcel off access FPV. Drone Racer 101. Tailspin. Failsafe. Lurgy. How are you? Audio Geek FPV. Hello, Richard Warwick. Hello.
So, do we want to tease some of the topics for the show?
Gusto. Hello. Caroline Taylor. Hello. Happy Christmas Eve. Catch 22. Hello.
So we had Andy on a minute ago. He's having sound issues, so we're just giving Andy a little bit of time to wrangle the wires.
Yeah. Hello, Dominic Clifton. Raven 187. Hello, welcome. Ebry, I think. EBR FPV. How you doing? Brandon. Hello. Brandon Beans. Sonic Tonic. What a great name. Put the fork over his eyes to give him a fringe. Well, we got a curry chicken on tonight.
None but the finest.
Just waiting for Andy. If Andy ever comes.
Yeah, so this evening we've got some interesting chats because Jack very generously allowed me to partake of a piece of living history. I'm sure Jack knows all the bits and pieces in here, but I can tell you that we have a Naze 32 because I helped him build some firmware for it. And it's interesting. It's sitting there right now. If you have excellent eyesight, you might notice that one of the chips is unplugged, because this fascinating board will only work with USB when you detach the OSD, because that's a great idea. And instead of putting a switch to do that, because you might want to do it a couple of times a day, you have to actually unsocket the OSD. A horror. And then I tried to figure out, well, if the OSD is connected to the flight controller and USB only works when you unplug the OSD, how do you configure the OSD? And I haven't quite got past that point yet. I probably have to get an FTDI and plug into multi-wii configurator or something.
Yeah, yeah. And you had to pay for a key in order to use.
There is a free version now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how up to date the free version is. Yeah.
I don't know. I've got the free version. What I need to do is to change the RSSI input from some nominal voltage value to actually pull it from the flight controller, and that'll be fine.
Are you so fucking disorganized you can't eat before the show? I paid for the key. I was ripped off. I paid for the key, but when it only 60 pence or something.
Yes. Thank you. Also, it's my attempt at humor. Sad humor, I know, but yeah, it's £2 or something for the key. £2.
Yeah, Dominic Clifton. Yep, Naze 32 Rev 5, baby.
Ah,
it's not even a real one, so don't worry. Tuncock didn't even get paid for that one. Yeah, it was not worth it. There wasn't much difference, but there was necessary updates that needed to be done. But the configurator did make it a bit better. Because, yeah, but back before those days.
Unfortunately, because the way my mind works, what happened was you basically sent me down a rabbit hole thinking, well, this sucks. I wonder what the most powerful FC I can fit into this board is. And I probably can put an F7 in there. But I know it's not in the spirit of the thing, so I haven't investigated further.
No, don't do it. We'll give Andy 2 more minutes, and failing that.
Curry's shrinking. Tony asked for a link, so he can come on and talk to Chicken Curry. Or Curry Chicken, rather. Our latest guest.
Oh, speak of the devil. Hello, wife.
Bonjour.
Hello, you're live on sdroneout.
I've just had my radiator fitted and I see there's only 2 of you. Do you want me to see if I can get my laptop booted and come on and say hello for Christmas?
Please, yep. We were hoping for a Frank as well. And I don't know what's happened to Andy. Andy was here.
Tell me about it, Dom.
Well,
They're outrageous.
Outrageous. I'll your laptop and I should see you in a minute.
Yep, it's in there. See you in a bit.
Okay, bye.
110 is not even a high price for one of those right now. 110 is like the average price for an H743 based FC right now. Euros.
How much?
About a ton in British, or 110 euros.
Oh. Oh, so you've actually overlaid the. I've just checked into Discord, but yeah, it seems that you've overlaid the black box data. I can't play any of the footage, but are you all right to set that up?
Yeah, I've got it all here. If we want.
Cool. We've flew
Museum copter.
Yeah. the retro quad, and we've compiled the footage.
There's some wonderful moments we've got here, like the initial little test of it. I might just snag some of the other files, because Jack conducted the most scientific test of a quad that I've seen so far, which is to put one foot on it and then just throttle up and make sure that it works.
Yeah, don't play that, because that's the other side of my room.
Oh, all right, we
maybe
can't.
Not play that.
It's not okay. We won't play that. But I trimmed the OSD, so we've got a couple of flights. It flew for an outrageously long time, like 8 minutes, I think. On
you landed for a bit.
Yeah, but the flying time was like 8 minutes on a lipo.
Yeah, you weren't that hardcore.
Well, I kept wobbling. You only had the camera at can't go fast because it just can't see where you're going.
25 degrees.
Yeah. Not running, no, 25 degrees. Let's see what we got. Show me what you got. So here we are, gentlemen.
And ladies. Caroline's here.
And ladies. And yeah, there's a percentage in the top corner, and I just have no clue what that percentage means. I assume it's some analog voltage that means absolutely nothing. But yeah, you can see it is flying. It's not, I would say, a smooth flying experience. It looks like odd things are happening on the roll axis. The roll axis is not happy. Pitch in better shape, but roll is a bit rough. And I can't figure out whether I need to vastly boost the PIDs or whether it's a little bit of frame wobbliness. I'm not really used to this type of setup, so it took a while to wrap my head around it. I for one really welcomed the slider based tuning that just keeps everything in ratio. So I'm not looking forward to this. And the stick commands are all totally different as well. I'm going to have to shut this cat out because I've got food on the table. There's a cat here who's just cited that I've got food.
Dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Naughty
right,
go cat wrangle. It's fine. Any more than this, I'm let's just start the show because
we're 13 minutes in. This is about as started. Hey, Mr. Andy, we were just reviewing some footage of me inexpertly flailing around on the sticks of a very old quad.
Ah, nice. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're great. Sounds clear. No problem. So yeah, Jack built this little monster. I was babying it around because I didn't want to have anything unexpected happen, but it did fly quite reliably.
I don't know why you can't see me, but hi.
Hello.
Camera on. That's just removing yourself.
I've had to swap audio systems because my computer did a Windows update that decided it was no longer going to support my audio device. So different headphones. Sorry.
That's what I think it's done to my camera.
It could have done.
Windows
go
is
to the
awesome.
settings at the bottom, the little cog.
Yeah.
And then select your webcam.
There's not one.
Yeah, Windows does that sometimes. It just decides, we don't want you to have this driver after all. Can't be trusted.
All right, let's start the show. Hello, and you're listening to Let's Drone Out. Tonight, we are joined by everyone's favourite chicken curry. And the man with moustache, Stephen.
Hello.
Everyone's favourite public liability.
I guess that's me. Yeah.
Yep. And for a Christmas hello, I can't get my camera to work. My darling boy.
Bonjour. I literally don't know. It's had an update and it's just said no. So
that's two of you this evening. I can well believe it's the same thing.
You're just going to have to hear me. I don't know what else to do.
Hang up, restart, and then try again.
Well, I can do that if you want.
Yeah,
Isn't Tony usually naked anyways? So
well, yeah. To be fair, I've just had a new radiator fitted in my house, and it's absolutely boiling.
No kit on there then.
Right, I will try to come back. Let's see what happens.
No worries. See you in a bit. I'm wondering where you'd even put a new radiator, to be honest with you, Tony.
Hey, Dominic Clifton.
Stop eating. That's great for any audio listeners. Stephen's eating. Mind you, they could just mute you on the editor, can just mute the chewing noises. Hello, Andy. How have you been?
Yeah, well, I thought we were all ready to go, and then my PC locked up, and I turned it back on. I had no audio, and it turns out that a particular Windows update that came out recently, it has completely disabled my very expensive audio interface. So I'm using the one on the motherboard to listen to you. So it's not the highest of quality, but something else to sort out. But yeah, I'm all right. Other than that, these headphones, I hate them. Really, they're Beats, but they're really uncomfortable. And anyways, whatever.
How have you been? I saw your update message talking about your mental health and anguish. Are you?
Yeah, I'm just. I would say just below okay is where I put myself. I'm not at the lowest point. I'm not at the okay point. I'm just there. I'm well enough to come on here, and even though I tried, it didn't want me to. Something didn't want me to. Windows didn't want me to, but here I am. But yeah, if you're trying to get information about drones from me, I'm probably not of that much use.
Have you honestly unsubscribed to everyone?
Have I what? Sorry.
Have you unsubscribed from all the news and stuff? Just stepped away from it?
Yeah. I just to sort of look after myself, and yeah, really, it's not that because I don't like it. It's because I don't know. I just wanted to separate myself from it for a bit. I absolutely love it. In fact, the flying hasn't stopped. It's just the videos that have stopped, and so yeah. No, I'll resubscribe.
Hey,
there he is.
What's up, peeps?
I haven't unsubscribed from everyone. I haven't unsubscribed from LDO. I haven't unsubscribed from Lee. Caroline, I haven't unsubscribed from.
Unsubscribed from me.
Big Am.
Unsubscribed from me.
He'd have to have subscribed to you in the first place, Jack.
Well, it's hard to tell if I'm subscribed to you, Jack, because I've never seen a video from you. So I think I probably am subscribed. I just haven't seen a video from you.
Mine's no flying, so mine's airsoft and mountain bike at the moment.
Yeah. No, I've not unsubscribed from you, Tom. I just mean, like, when I say...
I'm absolutely up there with Dom, by the way. The worst thing about any hobby is the drama. When someone does something positive and someone else doesn't agree, and there's just like 2 weeks of sniping about it instead of actually just moving on.
It was more about focusing on my health, and you know, part of that was my inability to make YouTube videos and be sharp and stuff like that, and so I just thought temporarily removing it from my life to sort my other issues out was a good idea. It's nothing against any of the channels, or anything like that. And honestly, like I don't watch it. I didn't need to unsubscribe. It's less unsubscribing and just not watching YouTube, really. Other than self-help, and there's a lot of good stuff out there for like your mental health and stuff. So watch a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I've just been off of here because I've just had other things going on in life that have been more important than,
What, like radiator thing?
Well, just more than that, Jack. There's been other things. I've had mental health issues, and I've never thought I'd ever have them. But COVID sort of brought that on when I actually got it 6 months ago, and then I looked into it, and it was like there was stuff saying, yeah, people have had, feeling bad, and I was quite emotional over the whole. I got over it in 4 days, and then just got really, I don't know, just felt really weird. Didn't feel myself for, I don't know, last couple of months really. It's been very weird, but I've been having other stuff to do as well. So it's just...
I don't think being locked up and isolated for anyone, especially like young kids as well, something that we saw in the summer here is something that we'd never seen before. And kids outside the house vandalizing, we live in quite a nice area.
Kids outside the house. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, we had kids outside the house, or say they just left school, and in the summer they caused havoc. They were setting where the famous red poo bin is. They set fire to it. They kicked it over. They were throwing rocks at an old lady. I feel like I've told this story before on here.
I haven't heard it.
So yeah, I think it's affected everybody in different ways. I think with kids, not being able to, being locked up and stuff. I don't know whether it is a symptom of that or not. All I know is that we'd never seen it. Living here for 35 years, we'd never seen it before. So it's like, that's something new. And it was straight after all the lockdowns were lifted, and all of a sudden we've got 60 kids hanging out on that field at the front of the house.
Like Lord of the Flies.
Throwing rocks, and you call the police, and they see the sirens, and they all bolt. So the police didn't really do anything. But anyways, I think that's it's just part of the whole lockdown situation and what it's done. It's probably I imagine there's a figure out there somewhere of how like mental health and COVID probably
totally
even worse on one side than the other. But
totally.
And not to be too much of a downer, but yeah, Christmas is also a very tough time. So there's lots of people out there who kind of struggle with that every year. You're not seeing as much of your mates. You haven't got as much sunlight. You're not out doing stuff that you'd normally do to kind of keep you fit and keep your mind working. That can be a bit of a struggle too.
Definitely.
The nights are drawing out longer from now on.
Yes.
Happy solstice, everyone.
Yeah.
Were you there, Tony, at Stonehenge, as you always are?
Not this year, but I did get a ping on my phone, and it pinged me, me and my mate Bruce at Stonehenge. That was 4 years ago I went there, which is like gone so quick.
Do you get naked and jump over a fire?
No, we just hugged a lot of people and hugged the stones. It was quite moving, actually. It's quite a good thing to go to. I think I'd definitely prefer that one than the summer one, because that's leading into darkness, whereas this one you go to is leading to the light coming back. So that's why I chose that one to go to, and it was great because you can get right up close to the stones. You can touch the stones, hug the stones. Get right in there, whereas if you went there normally, there's a big barrier behind it and security saying you can't do this. But on special days like that one,
me and the wife did that a couple of years ago. We were going down to a place in Bournemouth, and that was like the halfway point. So we just happened to be going past it the day that it was open, which is in September, start of September, and just went down there at 3 a.m. or something to watch dawn come up, and then watch all the hippies disappear into the fog afterwards. That was kind of cool. Very nice.
It's very enjoyable. What's this heart on the chat thing there? Is that like normally there?
What
I don't know.
You're gonna have to be more specific. Which of the 15 different chats are you referring
There's
to?
a heart there.
Oh, the YouTube one. Oh, people can put hearts in it. Oh, it's not showing up in the feed that we've got here.
I'm hearting, and it's going up the YouTube thing. That's new.
It's not doing that for me.
Everyone click the heart button on a
See
mobile
it there?
device.
Look, if I press the button.
Oh, it just gives you some extra emojis.
Oh,
does it?
select what emojis you want.
Yeah, but if I press it, you can't see it.
You can do
going up.
You can make
going
custom
up in
ones, can't you? Didn't we used to
going
have
up in the
LDO
chat? Goes up the side of the chat. Weird.
Yeah, man, that's something I found. Like not uploading the video to YouTube for a while is, I think it was probably 2 months or something. Like the whole interface seems to change every month, every other month. I can't keep up with that even. It's a difficult one. But
Andy, I did upload a video. I don't know whether you watched it. It was the Colsby did bit of video editing for me, and it was the video where we visited Mags.
Which was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
What was that recently? When did you post that?
I think last month, wasn't it?
It was 3 years ago. The video, it was live 3 years ago, and it was gone up.
It
was that the one with the Isle of Wight, where you went on the ferries to the Isle of Wight?
Oh, yeah,
you
I remember
that a couple of months ago, didn't you, Jack? That's not even...
That was about a month.
It's your latest video, but that's like a month ago now.
Yeah, a month ago was like I could have gone a month without looking at YouTube. So
that's like two ice ages in YouTube for 1 month.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out because I remember seeing the footage on the boat. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Is that what went out? Yeah.
That's it.
That was cool.
It's a lovely bit of footage.
Yeah.
So are you feeling better, Andy? Are you going to start up doing stuff again, or are you just going to chill a bit more, or what?
I want to. My brain wants to. My body doesn't. That's the problem. I talked in that video about like struggling to get out of bed, and I have, and when I go for a shower or a bath, I have all these amazing ideas, and I'm like, I can do this. And I've actually filmed. I've probably got 7 videos that are like
motorized bath, Andy. Motorized bath. Get you out in the field in a bath.
Yeah. Well, our flying field is kind of like
Phil will actually build that. If that was the solution to like fix Andy, trust me, that man, Dr. Phil, would have built it.
It's probably wet and horrible out there now, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, but you know what? We had 2 weeks, and you guys were probably the same, where it was freezing cold temperatures. It never went above like 0 degrees, and that was great. I actually got loads of flying done. Because it was too cold for outside the house, because it was too cold for dog walkers, but the ground was like frost, so it wasn't sludgy.
It was dry.
Yeah, it was dry. Yeah, I mean it was frosty, but it was dry.
There was water around, but it wasn't wet water. It was all ice. So you could land and just brush it off, and your quad's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So I did a lot of flying then. But man, I've got so much footage, like when we did the flying at the drone fest and all of that. Like I never put any of that out. The plane with the smoke system on it, all the slow-mo stuff that Andy caught. I think I put some stuff of when we flew at the towers, because I had that big massive crash at the towers. All of that's like, I mean, that would have been hilarious stuff. It was just having the.
You were freaking out so much with that plane, but the footage just looks excellent when you're flying the plane around the towers. You were freaking out the time. Oh my god, it's so tricky. You were the only person to get up there with a plane like the whole weekend. and you went up there and like blew smoke and had everyone flying around you. It looked absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I really want to put that footage out because, and everybody, it was mayhem because then everybody wanted to follow the plane with the smoke, with the quads, and all of the frequencies with all of the video feed was going crazy because everybody just plugged in, follow the plane, and it's like all rules went out the window when it came to what frequency you could fly on.
Wait a minute, you know the guy flying this plane is doing FPV, right, guys? There's like 10 of you. There's 10 of you in the air right now, and he's trying to fly this plane.
Not only that, like head tracking FPV, so I can get really close to the towers and stuff like that, you know. And all I'm seeing is just like a smudge. But
I was trying to follow initially and like just do a steady follow flight, and there I could hear this guy flying like spang next to me, and I was just hearing constant throttle punch cut. It was just like, like this guy was just like slam, slam, slam in front of me. I'm like, I'm gonna get mid-air like any second now.
What it really needed was my friend Phil, who had his in the car, but I just don't think he wanted to push it because it was on the limit. It was so windy, and that would be adding another DJI signal up there with 6 other DJI signals, and he probably made the good decision there. But really the only way to follow that plane closely is with the exact identical other plane, because quads are all over the place, whereas planes you can sort of say, right, we're at this throttle, we're at this altitude, we're going to turn now.
And these guys have been flying like super aggressive freestyle all weekend, so they weren't in like a cruising mode. They were in just absolutely ripping it and destroying lipos mode. That's what they were going to do.
Yeah. When I look back at some of the footage, they're trying to loop around the smoke. I'm like, no, just follow the smoke. It'll look better. Oh no, I want to do a matty thing around it, like, you know. So it's all good. I got all that footage. It look amazing. I think I might save it though. For the release of that pyro trigger thing that Menace will be coming out with, because it's definitely
coming out with it. But we were talking about that 6 months ago. When's he going to drop it?
We talked about years ago. He's busy with like the soldering iron and everything.
It was meant to be April, and it was. It was, but it's a very difficult one to get, is what Greg was saying, and I think he said January, you know, but I don't know. Maybe I released like a teaser video, and it didn't really get that much interest. So I think I got like 3,500 views, but I think it's just awesome thing. And maybe if I'd have showed it on a quad, people would be more interested. And that's an idea I had.
If you sold 3,500, that wouldn't be too bad, would it?
Yeah. But the issue there is there's only 2 in existence, and I've got the only 2. Greg hasn't even got one because he can't get the kits for them.
Frank's got one.
Who has?
Frank's got one.
No, not the one I've got. It's a different.
Frank got the special edition that browns out the FC when you press go?
I don't.
That was the only one.
No,
it would like latch open.
No, I think he probably has the one with the relay in it. It's no longer needed. It's an awesome solution. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Cool.
But January I heard, but it doesn't seem like there's that much interest. But when it comes out,
have you done any builds and things recently?
Builds? No, I've not done any builds. I've been because I'm so into this head tracking, the scale head tracking thing with fixed wing. I mean, like it's so difficult. I've been flying quads for so long, and then my friend Phil figured out this the head tracking, and then I took it a step further, making it wireless, and really being into VR and playing DCS and all of this business.
Is this being a DCS crew?
No. Everybody's gone back to work. DCS, that was a crew, that was a lockdown crew where none of us could do anything other than play DCS. But, NJ's gone back to touring. Other members, 777 pilot went back to flying 777s, etc. So everybody went back to their day job. And
Sheldon's actual flying planes.
Yeah, Sheldon flying IRL, and last I heard doing his aerobatic thing in a Cessna 152 aerobat. No, this isn't going to. This is like inside stuff. People aren't going to understand.
Did you see that new Boxer radio that it looks like Hydra's looking forward to that? And we had Curry talking about it last week. It's kind of a bit like a QX7 from Radio Master, kind of Mamba sized thing. Without the switches on the top, they put buttons on the top.
Is that the one? So Radio Master, they've just been absolutely amazing. In fact, I don't want to show off, but despite my lack of doing stuff, they sent me a lovely thing. They said, "Do you want to review a radio?" And I was just like, "Look, I don't want to waste your time, so don't send it." I'm guessing it's the. I think I may have saw Mad's video on it. Maybe is it?
Curry's reviewed it.
Painless and Mads and Curry and everyone all dropped their videos. I think like last week, the middle of last week.
If it's that, I haven't watched the videos, but I saw the shape of it, and it actually looked like the kind of shape that would be perfect for me. But I tell you what, though, every time I fly a different radio, I go back to that TX16S, and it is just, I fly the smoothest, even if I'm a nervous wreck. There's something about the gimbals on that radio and the weight of the thing, and the resistance against my shaky fingers, that I look back at the flight and it's just like, oh my God, it was actually, I'm recording my audio as I'm doing a flight with it. This was the other day for something like this. And I remember saying into the mic, sorry if it's shaky, anxiety, and it's -5. Then I look back at the footage and I was like, oh my God, it's like ultra smooth. And then when you use one of those,
do it, Andy, up the -5.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I thought. But then I found myself.
Does little Andy still exist at -5? He's just like.
Oh no, that one disappears inside, like.
That's it. Like, just all smooth, gusset free.
That's it. Yeah, perfect for swimming. So
anyway, back to the TX16. So people said they like this Boxer thing because it's got the same big gimbals that the TX16 has, right? But without the big body.
Is that the upgraded gimbals as well?
We are still talking about the Boxer here and not Andy's condition.
Oh yeah, don't put that on there. We'll take up the whole screen.
Yeah, that's it. Need more than 16:9.
I tell you my issue with radios, right? There's too bloody many of them.
Yeah,
right.
Do you know what I mean?
Back in my day, all we had was a Tyrannus.
Yeah, which I can't. Which I
choice who needs choice. It just confuses you.
I'd be like panicking.
They have stopped doing it.
What? Oh, I have to buy second hand. I might have to buy a.
No, you can still buy the X9. You can still buy the X9D Plus that you've got, Jack. I think I looked the other day because I needed
the 2019.
Yeah, they still sell that.
Tony ain't gonna like that. There's like none of his old Free Sky shit will work.
No. Do you know why I'm still using that? I'm still using that because Edge TX still has not added Bluetooth for it. We had this argument last time, didn't we, Stephen? It's got it for telemetry. It's not got it for the trainer thing. That's the one. It looks awesome. If I'd have said yes, it wouldn't have been fair on Radio Master because I don't think I'd have been well enough to do a review on it. And it's best off in someone else's hands, much more capable than me. Ironically, that does look like probably my perfect radio. The thing is, if it doesn't have if it has Edge TX and it doesn't have wireless head tracking, that's my main thing at the moment, which is what's stopping me from making videos.
Have you talked to the Edge TX devs and just said, what's the timeline on this one? Because you might kick up some interest. A lot of the time when they don't touch features, it's just because they're not front of mind, you know, people haven't reminded them.
Well, I actually don't. It's such a niche thing that I'm doing with this wireless head tracking thing that I think even if I said something, who am I? It's just like so low on their to-do list of things. But as soon as I'm not sure whether this radio even has the wireless head tracker in it, but the Mark II has the adapter for it. And I spoke to Radio Master because they were like, yeah, what's going to be great about the Mark II TX16S is that it's going to have a plug-in Bluetooth adapter that can do wireless training and whatever, but Edge TX has to implement it before we can put it on the market. So, and that's still not happened. I just don't think I think it's what people, because like the majority of all of this is for quad stuff, and even the fixed wing stuff. We're talking wings. No one's really interested in head tracking, especially on a wing. It's a very niche thing. So,
does the head tracker work as a wireless trainer, or is it a completely different mode?
So you use it in reverse. So you're, oh gosh, hang on, I'm probably going to get this wrong now because it's been such a long time.
It looks like a nice...
like feeds channels into one radio from another channel stick.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, so I've got a head tracker built into my DJI headset that's Bluetooth that connects to the wireless trainer Bluetooth down there. Right. And so when I turn my head, it converts that into values on channels.
So it's not a specific wireless head tracker function. It's the wireless trainer function that you're reusing to do wireless head tracking.
Yeah. It's a hack essentially. Yeah, but the wired version is having a wire coming out of the trainer, but you also then have to power the head tracker separately. And my friend Phil still does it this way, but like when I have a go of his system, it's like, right, here's a bunch of cables and wires and 2 batteries. One's powering the head tracker, one's powering because the 5 volts and all that. Whereas I've got just one battery, one plug, wireless, and it's perfect. So, but it's a very niche thing, and so whether it'll even get done or not, I don't know. But it's something that FR Sky still has, because I even think in their this controversial tandem thing has got the Bluetooth thing in it. It's amazing how the our father radio interest has pushed forward now that I think it's really interesting about radios. We've got too many radios, but we've got receivers that work with all of them. Surely it's the receivers that should be the selling point and not having lots of radios. I don't know. Maybe
it looks a nice size. It looks like something I could get on with rather than these PlayStation stuff.
They are just, because the resolution is not, resolution is the wrong word. The resolution is the same. It's just that the throw is much shorter, and because there's no weight to the thing, I need something.
That's why this was popular, right?
Here we go.
This has got the big ass gimbals on, so you can get your big hefty gimbal game on.
Jack could turn it. He could turn this into something. So I like something big and heavy in my hands, to keep them steady, because I've got really shaky hands. And then I need
vibrate mode.
I need a lot of movement on the thumbs.
Keep digging that hole, Andy. It's like you never left.
And
so you never left.
Those small controllers don't do that for me. They don't give me the weight, so my hands are shaking, holding.
It's all about the girth, the weight,
and then
girth.
The small throw. Now, this isn't for everyone because not everyone has general anxiety disorder.
Long throw, long strokes.
I'm with you though. I couldn't play PlayStation with my Tranus, but I couldn't fly with my PlayStation controller. So
I mean, I've tried using Curry's thing with a PlayStation controller. It's a nightmare, absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I just can't. No, small controllers. Have I got one? Have I got one here? No, I've got one somewhere. It's not for me, but
Dom makes a good point. Horus. Heavy.
Try a Horus. No, I've got a Horus, and the problem with the Horus then is that it's too well, and the sticks are really far apart. You have to end up doing, because I'm a thumber. Maybe it's different if I've got a lanyard on and you're full pinching, but I'm a thumber.
Nips.
Yeah, so,
nips.
Yeah.
So
the Radio Master TX16S is the perfect transmitter for me. The Mark II, because it doesn't have this Bluetooth support yet, is no good. So I'm with the X9D Plus 2019. I could take the Radio Master Mark I using OpenTX and manually solder in a Bluetooth thing there. I thought about doing a video on that.
Is it a big deal just to have like a mini jack cable come? You've already got a power cable going into your headset, right? So why not just put like a mini jack cable into the headset and into the radio? And it's just, or is it really distracting when you get more than just like one cable going into the headset?
Yeah, you have to remember that you are moving your head in real time. And the more cables that you have is very annoying. And the way that the system I came up with was that one battery. So the DJI goggles, you can get that digi adapter which powers up a analog module. I repurposed that for the 5 volts to power up the Arduino Bluetooth BLE board, so that one battery could do it all. And it's just really convenient, and I wouldn't go back to having it all wired. And no one's going to care about any of this because it's such a.
Well, we just had that guy on from the iNav fixed wing group a couple of days ago, and I think there is definitely a crowd out there who's doing really advanced fixed wing stuff that would be interested in this. It's just finding the right people to talk to, I guess, to make it happen.
It's one of those things, right, that you have to try it, and once you've tried it, it's very hard to go back because it's like flying a real plane almost. It's as close as you can get to flying a real plane.
I'm a real boy.
Yeah, I'm a real boy. You move your head, you look down, you look up, you can do proper formation flying. It's just
except
incredible.
You're more dangerous, Andy, because your life isn't on the line, unlike in a real plane that makes you fly safely.
Skin in the game.
It's
no skin in the game, Andy. You could just go straight into a school.
Yeah, well, that's where I fly at. So that's where I fly. I fly to school, so it could happen.
Foamy hit school. Donk.
He can't get a PPL because he wouldn't pass the psychiatric. They'd be like, you just want to plow this plane into the ground.
I was wondering,
head a 5-year-old with this foamy.
No.
Yeah, you're right there, Jack. And I couldn't afford it either because it's expensive.
It's Coca-Cola money in it.
That was the dream as a kid, though, was to be a pilot.
PPL.
Yeah,
I'm sure you could be if you put your mind to it. You're pretty much there anyway.
Yeah.
No, Jack's right with the mental health conditions. They wouldn't let you.
Well, while we've got Andy on, he might like to review a piece of history. I don't know if this is before we went live, but Jack generously loaned me this historic item, which has a Naze 32 in, and Dom in the chat's probably seen more of these than he'd ever care to mention. But this is
he probably made them work.
The one that, it also has plugs for an SP Racing F3, I noticed in there, but Jack thought he didn't want to spoil me, so we're back with the F1 here. So you have to unplug the OSD to plug in your USB. There's the OSD floating around in there. Or unplug that sucker from the socket.
Minimo
USB lead in.
SD.
Micromin.
Yeah.
Man,
I
I
know.
still got
Old days.
It's a special form of torture.
It's
and you
not got
notice
the right
someone's
antenna on.
It has.
someone's cleverly
Well,
thought
it
that
has, but it hasn't for back
just
in
in
the day.
case you crash,
Yeah.
what you really want to do is to replace all of your electronics and resolder everything and replace the entire PCB every time you break an arm. So that's what they've designed this for. So if you do an arm crash near the edge there and in any way damage it up here, you have to replace the entire. You have to rebuild your quad basically.
I can see a few wrong things with that if that is a quad from this 2016.
Well, it's still in one piece, obviously. But
what's wrong about it?
For long.
The camera tilt wasn't available at that time. It was a circuit board.
No,
it was flat.
But feels.
Yeah, HS 1177.
That's 17, not 16, 15.
No, it was.
How did you tell? I used to fly straight on a circuit board, and we used to try.
You only flew up and down. You didn't go forwards.
And the antenna is not right for the era. I'm sorry, man.
I'm sure there would have been a time.
He did send me a Spyro antenna that was right for the era, but the trouble with Spyro antennas is they're a one-flight antenna. You don't even have to crash. You just have to land and roll over, and it's dead.
It would have been a fat
yeah,
sharp.
I also did a rebuild yesterday
antenna,
of that.
which cost load.
For an extra 10 grams, I could fly this. This is 10 grams heavier. That's 365. This is 375, but I get a GPS and DJI, and I go up from a 2205 to a 2207 motor, and it's got an H7 on here.
Is that the Chris Ross
55 amp? Yeah, that's the AOS 5 V2.
Yeah,
so it's 10 grams heavier, but there's a whole lot more quad on that.
Is that the one that supports the new 03? Because I believe has they had to redo it?
You have to get special camera plates or some faff like that. I think it's just about getting the camera plates out the field of view.
Got you. Yeah.
I think you can just wedge it in there, but you might ding the lens.
When I flew in 2015-16, it was a camera like... We didn't have no tilt. It was literally slid in, and it would face that way, and that was it. You didn't have no choice.
It was an 8mm film camera, and it was on a 2-stroke with props on, wooden props.
To be fair, it's got little B20s, and it's got 1177.
See, that's still a little bit.
That was the cutting edge of that era.
That was probably 2017 you were talking about.
2017, by then
no one's flying that in 2017
and everything. You're thinking way too far back, I think, because that quad is still in the era of the that was
Dom can
still
tell us.
before...
He was literally writing software for this stuff. So Dom, when were you writing software?
My first quads
when was it common?
No,
ball nose propellers, camera on a board. You couldn't move.
It's an 1177.
Yeah, you could look at the sun and be like, "There's sun."
That's
I don't
too
see
advanced,
anything else.
Jack.
It's not. That's why that the frame has got the hole for the 1177. It's got the camera mount in for that. That's why it fits in it.
It's too late for my era.
So 2014. It weren't. Like 2015. I was still in Radio C back then.
Yeah, so
support for that board was dropped in 2017. They dropped support for that board in 2017. When Betaflight dropped 3.3, they no longer supported the F1.
I can go and get... We used to be able to go and buy a GoPro wide-angle lens and screw it into the front of our cameras to make it wider and better to fly from.
That frame, even though it has got a board camera, that frame still had the holes to the 1177. It's just because we were backwards and didn't order it, but it was still there. Look, there's employee of the month, Rimmer. He always got employer of the month instead of me, and that is why you don't use Loctite on fossil frames, because it sits there and eats
the plastic.
Look at this wrong un.
Oh, that is old school. Look at them glasses. Yeah. Who is that?
Yeah, it's 6.
So yeah, Dom says
6 meters.
Drone Nationals. Everyone was on the F3, and he says F1 would have dated from 2013 to 2014, and he was selling these things.
That's
so
when
I think
started,
we can go by him.
Look,
I started on the
2016.
But let's be clear, like no one.
Oh right, yeah. So
no one is flying 0 degrees camera. 0 degrees camera is unusable.
14.
Mm.
I remember the 0 degrees camera days, though. They were there. I just don't know what year they were, but I've got them.
Yeah.
And that you could like 3D print a bracket for it, or actually buy a bracket that would angle them. The board cameras, if I remember.
If you're flying 0 degree camera, you're pretty much just saying, I'm not comfortable flying forwards yet. I'm still trying to figure out how to get this thing to not crash, right?
Not really.
Easier to land.
You could still, if you tipped the quad, like you could still see a bit of the horizon, or even if not, you knew where you were on the ground.
You have like a 2.5 mil lens, so you've only got like an 80-degree field of view or less.
Very narrow field of view as well. Yeah, so
if you have that plus 0 degrees, it's a challenge to do any sort of forward flying.
Yeah,
at speed anyway.
The thing is, I could have built that sort of level of shit quad, but I think it was just that's a line in which wardrobe reference. Shut up, which I was there when the Dark Magic was written. I went with that sort of stuff because that's the sort of stuff I could get, and it was period correct and the best it got. Yeah. You know, because like we're using the final version of beta flight, so it's not on clean flight. It could be, sorry Dom, but what are you going to do? So it's got
it's a Rev 5 of the Naze 32. It's not an early version.
Not a Rev 6. You know,
to Marcel, that's because he flies backwards. Cricket runs 10 degrees because he flies backwards. That is his thing.
That's his thing, isn't it?
That's the way you keep the camera flat.
Yeah, if I was gonna do the sort of, I went for the legacy of F1. I mean, I could put a multi-wii on there if I want. I've still got the board, or I could have put KK2.
Yeah, but that was like that was 450 stuff, wasn't it? And that was before blackout and things like that happened.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, well, Curry's doing that, so I'll just do the best of F1 because I've still got an SPF Racing F3, but then it doesn't interface with that PDB. And then I went with the 20 amp little Bs because that's what we all
flew. They were top PDB, mate. It's literally got a place on the PDB where it says SP Racing SP3. That's for an SP Racing F3. It's there.
What motors are on there, Jack?
They're Race Star, but I spoke to not Racist Star. Not don't go there. ANDYRC.
Dong Zhuang, aren't they? DX.
Shouldn't it be red bottoms? Racer Star wasn't around those years.
Yeah, these are the Dong whatever ones, the cheapos.
What have I got on mine?
You can still buy these.
Mine are Sunny Sky.
Yeah, so like Tony's is proper.
Tony,
are you up for getting an ELRS system? And we're trying to, like, if we update the Rev 5 board, are you still like, would you fly that old?
I'd like to take my retro stuff out and have a fly one day. We should definitely hook up maybe spring coming summer and do something like that, and maybe do an LDO video and fly our old stuff. Because
the quad museum.
Yeah, it would be amazing. I think I've still got some bull nose props in a packet somewhere. So we could do some flying. I think it would be good. Make a good video.
Stephen managed to even clip the props on a football post, but they didn't explode.
Yeah,
he gently like. He wasn't going full chat, but do you want to play the video? Do you want
I mean, it's not amazing, but
your feedback.
I mean, it worked, so there's something. I'll get just put a minute.
So this is 2016 technology flying in 2020.
Well, it's more like 2011 to 2014 era, because by 2016 everyone was getting on to F3s. This is an F1. And it is wobblesome, as you'll notice. I think it needs, more P&I gains. I'm not used to tuning these, and I'm worried that there may not be enough filtering really in place. But you could put it in a direction and make it go there. It's sedate. It's not the fastest thing, but it does the job,
But but how good did you feel when you used to be able to take off and fly?
I mean, the fact is that you could fly that through the goalpost is incredible.
You're not.
I don't realise what achievement that was.
Not the end of the world.
I'm disappointed.
I was like, how did you know the goalpost was there? Because I didn't see it until like you were 2 centimeters from getting through it.
Well, I did better on these
goggles. No goalpost, and then all of a sudden, there's a goal. No, you missed it that time.
I think your lockdown fitness regime may have hurt your eyesight, Andy.
I'm still disappointed.
Why?
There was no.
The you put the wrong battery on.
What do you mean? Oh, what you want 3S?
It was 3S. It was 3S. No,
I mean, it was pants on 4S, mate. You needed like 40% throttle to lift off.
Where it was.
Yeah, like Tony's like Tone. You're flying 2014, 2015. I'm flying 2016, 2017.
Yeah, I forget you were a bit after me, I suppose.
I'm flying quads where my hover position is like 15 to 20%. The hover position on this is like 45%. You don't want to be flying
on 3S. I was at 70. My thumb was right over there trying to keep it.
I did also get Jack to fly my little AOS 3.5 DJI build as well, just for giggles. To have something.
I saw a picture of that on Instagram. Yeah,
he flew the whole battery. He was quiet and slightly complimentary. Which
I saw that he went out as
well. If it wasn't for that, I would have been one pack Jack, because my 6S build camera didn't work, and you'd flew one pack of my 4S, and then I only had another 4S pack. But you guys are right, like 3S. But by then we were flying 4S.
Yeah.
Like this is Boris B sort of stuff.
Yeah, this got into that.
He's added the 2-step filter. What were we talking about last night, Stephen?
There were 2 static filters. That was it. I'm like, there's no notch filter. I realized that on Betaflight, they introduced this fantastic notch filter in like version 3.2, but you couldn't do it on F1. You needed an F3 or better. Yeah. And so there's 2 static filters, and I have no idea what to do with them. And I'm looking for I wonder if someone's published the frame resonance peaks for a ZenMR 250. No one has. No one really bothered to check. They just sort of put random magic numbers in and then never wrote them down afterwards.
Yeah.
So
once you tune it,
no idea.
You should
look at that. I just saw a Yeti in its actual natural habitat.
Yeah, that's it. Dom, what is the
so
percentage in the top corner? Is that actually RSSI?
That's the RSSI,
and should it
mate.
be that low?
But I checked the default on your multi-Wii OSD, and by default, it takes RSSI from an analog input, and you have to tell it to take it from an RC channel, which would be the LQ on channel 14 aux 11, or you want to take it off of the actual flight controller. So you need to go into multi-Wii OSD configurator and reconfigure the source for the RSSI, or you're going to have to like figure out where the soldering is.
That's not working because it's reading 10%. So that's something else.
Yeah, that's because it's not connected to anything. It's just taking the value off a pad that is floating. It's not.
Got you. Sorry, apologies. I thought you meant that you did actually.
No. It's cool, man. It's cool. Yeah, I think the pad's
I'll give you my key for the software if you want. It was always pretty useless. Yeah.
One thing I've noticed about popular drone podcasts is they talk about the new stuff.
Yeah, I know.
The new stuff pisses me off because I was a DJI fucking goggles V1, and they've just shafted me.
Can I just say, as someone who's
the
been
Snow
out
Yeti with DJI on,
as someone who's been out of the drone game for a little while, I was hoping to come on here tonight and be informed what's currently going on. And
it's all going to go back to 2017 this year.
I know that DJI shafted me because I bought V1 everything, loved it, saw the blades of grass and the stones, and now it's obsolete and I'm pissed off.
It's not obsolete, and maybe my video will change your mind if I ever get around to it.
Andy,
post it
or send me naughty messages about it.
Andy knows how to tease us still.
They've certainly how can I say this? There's certain ways where the O3 will shaft you over the Vista. And is it worth it?
I don't think that the black levels are worth it, personally. It's not an FPV camera, it's a film camera.
It's more about what resolutions and field of view DJI let you have against what you can use in Gyroflow. That's the real stinger for me.
I finally took the jump.
He's done it. He's done it.
Bit the bullet.
And I swapped out the antennas for a couple of True RCs. They're shipping them with patches now. You've got walk snail patches on.
Yeah, they were meant to send them to me, but because of my announcement of not being very well, I guess they thought that wasn't a good thing. And then I made a video, DJI versus walk snail. But there you go. What can you do? It wasn't it was just in the field outside.
Are you getting people still contact you, Andy, saying, "Yo, we want some stuff done. What are you doing? Are you coming back? What's going on?"
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's a shame to have to say no, but it's just not fair, is it? To say yes, send me this radio, and Radio Master, they go the extra mile, they scribe your name on it and all this, and I'm like, do you know what? It's just not fair if I don't bring a video out. Yeah, exactly. I really want to try the VRX because I think that I tell you where Walk Snail is like better than every other option, and that is the 1S Whoop digital space. I've got the Betaflight Meteor 75, and I've flown it more than anything else. And indoors and in the sports hall that I fly at, it's indistinguishable between DJI. The DVR footage.
It looks really good, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's only when you go take it outside and there's grass and lots of detail, that's where it starts to struggle. But if you're in your house where you hopefully haven't got grass in your house, it's amazing. And it's you've got grass.
That's why I like Walk Snail.
I understand.
So that's Walk Snail on a 2.5-inch that's versus the 5-inch build, right? It fits just fine on that tiny quad. It fits in the place where a Whoop VTX stack fits, one of the little triangle VTX stacks. It's not an issue, and it runs off a 5-volt BEC. So it basically can go anywhere where you would previously have a Whoop kind of 400 mil or 200 milliwatt VTX, and you plug it in and you're off.
It's only Dominic Clifton.
We've angered. I was there. I wrote the witch
I've
code.
done this.
I
think Dom would be on board with my 3S battery thing.
Someone said something in front of the mirror.
Sorry, I missed the last couple of things that you said. I was just transferring from downstairs to upstairs.
I overthrew any views expressed by the guest to show a personal may not be the view of others. He was like, "My job shit." I was here.
That's hilarious. Thanks for that. Cheers, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
It is.
Christmas.
It was 3S, Dom, wasn't it? Come on.
It was 3S all the way.
70%.
No, we did. What about Drone Labs? They were 4S.
It was 2S and 3S.
Yeah.
There was none of this 4S malarkey.
There weren't.
There was
back in
4S.
2014 or
It
so.
was because Tony
No,
gave
but Fields.
Because
everyone, I was
Mini Air Show
flying
2,
in 2015 3S still.
Yeah.
I went to the Drone Nationals and I was on 3S, and then Mr. Steele whizzes past me in a race. I'm like, what the is going on here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah,
more volts.
Yeah, I'm not fast
he
enough.
He was on 4. That's exactly what happened when we went,
With
and Banny was on 4 and we were on 3, and we were like, what's happened?
Didn't a similar thing happen though when people went from 3S to 4S, and you get a desync like sometimes you do today with 6S? I'm sure that was a thing, or am I making it up? Some ESCs
Yeah. You absolutely can have that. Yeah, you're just pushing the motor too hard, and you don't change the ramp up, and the motor just can't take all that power at once, and it just misses a phase change.
There wasn't motors ready for 4S back then.
ESCs were ready for it, not so much.
That's what I mean. The ESCs were being pushed in desync and whatever.
Yeah, they were just frying left, right, and centre back then.
Combination of both.
It's not so much the motors that were the issue. It was definitely more the ESCs that weren't 4S ready. Yeah, and the voltage regulators on the flight controllers weren't 4S ready either, because at that time, in the electronics side of things, it was all the data sheets, all the voltage regulators everyone was using, and people were only speccing up to like 20 volts or so. And you need a lot more than that for like reliable 4S, 5S, 6S.
Yeah.
And that's without all the transient peaks that you get when on connection of the batteries. Because I remember when people were starting to use the SB Racing F3 Mini with 4S, randomly they would just explode. The voltage regulator would just explode because of the it didn't have the TVS diode on there to protect the regulator. So they would just fry. I'm like, I've never had one fry on my desk, and the reason was because I've never been using 4S on them.
Look, DYS.
People didn't really have tunable ramp up power either. It was just kind of go, not go.
I do remember.
Oh, it wasn't so much that. It was the battery connection. It's the spike that you get on the battery connection.
That plug-in.
Current and voltage
once it was on, it was all right. It was just the battery connection spike would just kill it. So sometimes you go to plug it in and fly it would just die.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started building, people were like, "Oh, you might need a capacitor," and I've always put a capacitor in every single build, but I gather this wasn't a thing. Like at some point, people just were like, "Yeah, we don't need caps.
The
it'll be fine."
capacitor will suck and drop the voltage a little bit, but it doesn't take out the transient spike. This way, every SB Racing F3. Every SB Racing FC since then, I've always had a TVS diode on them.
Yeah,
still today, like loads of other manufacturers ship expensive like H7 based ones without a TVS diode on. I'm like, what the hell are you thinking? Do you not know how much an H7 CPU costs these days to replace?
It's great. It's great for sales, mate. It's great. They just sell another one.
shocking.
Wow, look at Shady. Look at
Capital
Shady still
is,
flying. All of my quads use little B20 amps.
Yeah, the little B.
Wow.
I remember
Yeah,
those things.
I
remember when they first
do you
came
remember,
out.
do you remember Banner
4S.
UK? Who remembers?
Yeah.
Who remembers Luke Bannister?
Who's
I don't know
that?
what he's doing these days.
I think he's
But
flying in
I think he
London.
introduced me to the little B20s at some event somewhere. I'm like, oh, these are really good. I'm like, they were tiny little
They
things.
were
so
tiny.
small compared to everything else, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were
I still
amazing,
got
those
some.
things were.
I got
Mate,
some
you could
somewhere.
run the 30s on 5S.
I'm just trying to think what I've got in my
Yeah, we
stash
did, didn't we,
collection up
Jack?
here.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. This is cutting edge. We're going cutting edge tonight, everyone.
I think most of my old stuff's out in the garage though, and it's a bit cold for going and wandering out into the garage now. Just trying to dig out some old
2015,
craft.
14 cutting edge, Tony.
I know. Why? Look, you could tune into all these others and be
Cold,
like,
you're out
"Oh,
in
the
Spain, aren't
Foxeer
you?"
box," and
And-
like they're reviewing. They're sitting in the corner, like, "Oh, the HD0 new goggles. Oh, they're so good." Because, like, you know, we haven't had like 20 posts already.
Digital.
You know,
Exactly.
Digital.
we're like, "Yo, let's argue. Is it 1177 or did you have a
3S
flat
or
podcast?"
4S?
And then we just spend 20 minutes squabbling whether it's 4S or 3S.
Well, I'd like to say that
I did ask
Dominic-
Jack what happens if I plug a 5S LiPo into this quad, and he was just like, no,
Yeah.
no,
Just fire and
Bomb.
death.
no.
Go on,
Fire.
Don Stoll. What's the question?
I was just going to say, you look really good, and I hope you haven't fallen down any stairs lately.
I'm not
yeah.
falling downstairs. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's one of the LDO episodes, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was lying on the bloody
Yeah.
carpet downstairs.
Shared the horrible drive cam of you
Oh.
slipping over. Oh,
That was a
dear.
nightmare. That was.
How you been
That was a
since then? You've been good?
Well, no, we had a break leak.
Well, I had
didn't
I had the whole brain hemorrhage thing about a year
Yeah.
or so ago. Was that a year or 2 years now? I don't
That
remember.
was last year. I think.
Jeez.
And my blood pressure and so on's been bad since then. And I've been trying a bunch of different tablets and so on, medical
yeah.
stuff. I'm not going to bore everybody with it. No one wants to hear about my health. So I'll keep this quick.
Well, yeah, that's okay.
So I had all high blood pressure stuff. That's still going on. It's still stupidly high. Every morning I check the blood pressure machine and it's stupid high. Try this, try that, and nothing seems to make any difference. If I have too many beers, I start to feel like a pain in the back of my neck, where the spinal fluid is probably still leaking out somewhere into my back, which is what caused the brain hemorrhage thing in the first place, because the spinal fluid leaks out of my head, goes down my spine, comes out my spine, and goes somewhere else into my body, and then my brain sinks inside my head.
Jeez.
So I have this condition, CSF leak.
Sinking brain condition.
It's not good. It's not good.
You look well.
Yeah, for the most part. A couple of weeks ago, I wasn't good. And I had to not do the things that I like doing. Because I've got a new side by side. Do you guys know what side by sides are?
It's a
Shotgun.
buggy, isn't it?
It's a buggy, indeed.
Yeah.
I bought one of these a couple of years ago. It's hilarious. Honestly, it's the most fun thing I've ever bought. And I bought quite a lot of fun things in my life, but my side by side is the most fun thing that I've ever bought. It's amazing. I love it. But the problem is the buggy. You're driving around in Spain here, and it's rocks and stuff everywhere, and you're going really fast, and you're bouncing up and down, and it's not good. So if I do long drives, and I've had beer the night before, it's just like no. So if I'm going buggy, I have to like no beers the night before, good night's sleep, and it's like getting old. It sucks.
That's just. I was going to say it's just getting old.
Specifically, rehydrate your brain. It just sounds like you need some little like refill tank on the side of your head.
It's not the rehydration that. Well, I mean, it partly is because obviously it's fluid based, right? But yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be leaking out in the first place. Is what the problem is. That's the underlying root cause of the situation. Yeah. It's not supposed to be leaking, but it does. Yeah, what are you going to do? So the way that they fix it is they take a needle, they stick it in your spine, and they take some of your blood, then put it in a needle, and then stick that needle in your spine, and then they inject your blood into your spine, and it's supposed to fill up the holes. This may yet happen in my life, I don't know. But the last time they stuck needles in my spine, it sucked.
Will you be sleeping upside down like Batman to prevent this?
Maybe. I haven't tried it. I have to get a new bed though.
One
with a crash mat underneath it.
How's the weather? But you haven't had any -7s like we have had.
Down here in south of Spain, near Malaga, it doesn't snow at ground level very often. There is a mountain that I can see if I go down just not far up the road, which did have snow in it about 4 years ago. And I can see mountains with snow on them at Sierra Nevada. If I look sort of over the sea to past Malaga and up into the distance, you can see the mountains with snow on them. But it doesn't snow at ground level down here.
So your heating bills and stuff have been fine, unlike all of us.
It's not like UK ones, no. And I got solar this year as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
I looked at solar; it was far too expensive.
Well,
have you got a battery?
In England? Yeah, I got a 10 kilowatt battery and 18
kilowatt.
Panels. I got 8.7 kilowatt system. I installed it myself.
Oh, that's cool.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
You were doing maintenance on someone else's solar on the previous
10
show.
kilowatt. That's brilliant.
Clambering around on solar rigs.
Yes, no, it's great. I mean, out here in Spain, it makes a lot of sense, but
solar
in England, like, because now it's December out here and you get a bit of cloud cover, so it's like it's worse than this every day in the UK, and like I'm getting no solar generation.
My heart
whatsoever.
bleeds for you, Dom.
You can't sell solar panels in England. It's just like no.
Well, you laugh, but we got up to 40 degrees this summer, which was kind of unheard of. So it's definitely
but it's not the temperature, and the solar panels don't work well when there's a big temperature differential. So no, bad. You want solar panels with a good temperature coefficient. That's what I learned when I was looking at it.
And a big battery, because it's pointless.
And you need the government to actually subsidise it rather than view like renewable power as a treat for rich people rather than economic policy.
If they only put it on all houses facing south in the UK, like subsidise that and just put it to the grid.
Heat pumps thing, actually looking at it, is probably a better thing for England, the English government, to actually subsidise. I was looking at
people around here with
the efficiency of the heat pumps, because I didn't even know what they were. I'm like, what the fuck is this heat pump stuff that's everyone's talking about? Excuse my French. Exactly, reverse fridge. I'm like, oh, I thought it was something else. In my head, I thought it was like some pipe they stick in the ground and it pumps heat up out of the ground or something. But,
well, it is, and it isn't.
That is
so
a thing.
There's air source heat pumps and ground source. And ground source, if you've got the property space for it, you get a constant temperature differential throughout the seasons between, say, 10 or 15 meters underground and your house, and you can use that temperature differential more effectively than you just going from air temperature to inside the house. So
and that's what I thought they all were, but it is a reverse air conditioner, exactly. So that makes a lot more sense because of the efficiency stuff, but the things are so expensive to get a decent one because the cheap
and
ones
they're big.
Are just like the size of an aircon unit basically. So
but they're bigger than an aircon unit, and some people around here have them,
and you still need
they're attached directly onto the side of the house, so they make aircon look quite small.
You can use them for aircon in the summer.
Well, so the people around that I asked about this, and the models they're selling here are heating only; they're not cooling, which makes me feel like people have missed it.
You definitely want to buy.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah, you definitely want to buy the one what's heating and cooling.
Yeah, that's what.
Although I think we're getting a little bit off topic with this.
We are.
No, it's the end of the show. Dom, have you got ESD mats that are the same colour as Clean Flight?
Have I got what?
ESD mats, the same cut. The Clean Flight ESD mats. Electrostatic discharge.
What? No, I made a green desk. And I have like some of these, but they're not electrostatic.
Are you going to make any new cool flight controller things for the world at large, Dom?
Well, no, it's not. I can't be asked. I definitely can be asked, but the problem is the supply chain at the moment.
Yes,
grey market.
There's two things. One. The supply chain is screwed, and the price of the MCUs is quite frankly ridiculous. I used to buy an 8750 CPU for €3.50. I looked today, a bit earlier before this live stream, and they were €15.
What?
For an 8750, not an 8730. sorry, 8743, sorry, and 8750, which is old. The 8730s on obtainium, and they're stupidly overpriced now. They used to be like less than $4 each for those things for 520 megahertz. So amazing processors,
Wow.
absolutely amazing.
Have you looked outside of STM32 maybe?
I have. But there are still supply chain issues with those things, and also it's not a simple proposition.
No.
Using you might be referring
I wouldn't say it was
to
simple,
the China
but
clones. You might be referring to the China clones here, as opposed to different architectures. Or
not saying put MIPS in, but put something that
risk.
is
I mean, like,
similar
there's all
to
the
an
risk stuff.
STM32.
For a while, I've been looking at the
because you went from F1 to F3 to F4 to F7, so
yeah, but
you're
that's
familiar with the
progression.
errata and awkwardness. But so a lot of people are looking at other clones of STM32, like Giga Devices, Artery Tech, this type of stuff.
No, the only reason you would ever install like a clone of an STM processor is if you wanted to save a couple of bucks at manufacturing. It is not a solution for the software developers, because now they have to support hardware that's not doesn't work like it's supposed to work, because it's a clone and it's broken, right?
And the original hardware never worked exactly like it was supposed to work, because you had to read all the errata.
Now all the developers are having to run around just because a couple of manufacturers are too cheap to buy the real one. No. All day long, no.
All right, that is all we've got time for.
Oh,
we are over.
It's just getting started, Jack.
Exactly.
Over time. No, why don't we hang out in Discord?
All right, Discord and the can of whoop ass shall be opened. Yeah. Everyone head over. It's where everything is happening, Tony. It's
we could still hang out here and then just post a Discord link, I guess.
Just leave it here. I'm good for another half hour.
Should we stop?
Yeah, me too. I'm good for another half hour. You can do an extra long Christmas special.
All right, look, let's do an outro. Editor, if you hear this now, end the show. Thank you to all our Patreons who lovingly sponsor us. If you're listening to this on, any podcast platform, Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, whatever, this show is brought to you by our lovely Patreons. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. Thank you once again for supporting us for another year. It's been great. It's nice to have some more of you guys all back together. Frank, we still miss you. But you've been joined by everyone's favourite curry kitten, curry kitten, the man with the moustache, Stephen.
Cheers. Good night.
Everyone's favourite reason why we've got public liability insurance, ANDYRC.
Bye, everybody.
Do you want to say EMAX sucks or something, or
the Earth's flat, QAnon, something like that?
Yeah. We've also been blessed by my darling wife, Tony.
Bonjour.
How many steps have you done today?
Hold on. 12,585.
There you go, Mum. And our special guest, we should all be running 3S, not 4S, Dominic Clifton.
That's 5.5 miles, by the way.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in. So, all right, we're carrying on. Editor,
where are we going? What's
thank
going
you
on?
for editing it. But,
thanks, editor. What, are we just stopping but staying here?
We've got an extra
just stay here and just leave it carry on. So anyone who's watching now,
they can stay on. Okay.
We'll just leave it run, but the editor's done.
Okay. Fair play. I'm going to wee.
I was going to say I'm not used to this.
So give
me
some
another
more
half hour.
Have a quick wee, Andy.
Yeah,
so I just sent you a link of some lazy cloners who want to save a buck or two.
Half hour.
No, I'm not even going to click it. I don't even want to know who they are or why they do it. I know why they're doing it, because they want to save a buck or two. It's just like, so where were we? Yeah, we were talking about any other CPUs and so on. So STM32 clones, no, there's no point. It's just like, it's a cost saving thing, but it's not. It's only cost saving for the manufacturers. It's a cost for everybody else.
Development, yeah.
So no, everybody else, the users as well as the developers. It's a cost for everybody else. So it's only good for the retailers and manufacturers, because they'll sell clones at the same price as the regular ones, right? So maybe slightly cheaper, but the profit margins will be different. So, but no, like F1 to F3 to F4, logical progression, right? Whereas doing code for like a different architecture is an entirely different prospect.
It'd be like going from what's
0
base flight
to
all
everything.
over again. From 8-bit to 32-bit, it'd be like that all over again.
No, it's worse than that. It's well, I guess
rewrite all the
maybe
drivers,
a little bit like that. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's all the drivers. So you want PWM output? It's like, okay, but we don't have any timer code written yet. So we've got to write timer code. Then we've got to write motor driver code, and then we've got to write SPI code for doing.
First, you've got to write the soles of your shoes. Then you've got to write your bootlaces and all of this. Yeah, it would be a painful endeavor. I was just wondering if people are going to try and use something other than STM32, and on from that, I guess, whether STM32 silicon microelectronics ever get back to their previous levels, because they were a machine for many years, but they're looking a little bit weird right now because they're pricing themselves out. It's kind of like Raspberry Pi, where people started off using this brand, and now they're too expensive for everyone who started using them to buy anymore.
Well, they're in the same situation. It's like the guy from Raspberry Pi Foundation was saying, "Oh, we hope everyone, everything gets back to where it was pre-pandemic, like in about a year's time." But that time's come and gone.
That was a year ago, yeah. Plus.
And STM32 was saying, kind of ST Micros rather, was saying the same kind of thing. But no, it remains to be seen whether the prices return to their previous levels or not. I'm not holding out any hope for it at the moment to go back down to where it was. And when I checked today, I think I mentioned it earlier in the stream. I looked today for a flight controller, one that I'd previously bought, and I've got a couple of Matex on my desk over here. There's one in like a test jig over here, and well, I think when I bought that, it was expensive, but I'm like, well, inflation, pandemic, yada yada yada. And I look again today, and it's like about €40 more than it was previously. It's like, how can it be €40 more than it was? It's like €110 they want, the same shop for the same product, only about 6 months later or so.
Well, the prices out of China have just skyrocketed as well. I was trying to buy a board that I bought for, I think I bought it for £30 or £40 the first time round, and then I bought it again at 65 quid, and I can no longer buy it at 85. They've just disappeared.
Crazy. It's crazy. And I haven't changed the prices of any of the SP Racing stuff, because all the parts and stuff I bought pre-pandemic, right? So I'm sitting here this evening looking at everyone else selling flight controllers at €110, going, "Shall I up the prices?" And I just can't do it. I can't do it. I've still got loads. I've still got a down here in this thing behind me here. I've got like a massive stash of H730 processors, and we're talking a massive stash. I can make a lot of flight controllers with that stash. And I bought all those when they were like €3.50 each or something.
Who's that, Jack?
Jack stroking his pussy as always.
But
contentment.
One thing,
cat.
Go on, Andy.
One thing that I've been getting from China is the lockdowns. It always seems to be locked down. I was speaking to someone from iFlight, Cadex. They've two of their main correspondents tested positive for COVID, and the whole place is in lockdown.
Well, they've changed the lockdown rules in China in the last couple of weeks, haven't they? Whereas before, if like someone in your building of like 2,000 people or something, because they have massive skyscrapers like everywhere, all the new developments are massive skyscrapers. There's no single floor houses and so on going up. So
it's only because of people power, because people died.
Well,
finally,
I mean.
People got locked in.
The lockdown is primarily because of the health service can't deal with too many people coming in all at the same time. That's why the lockdowns are there, as I understand.
Even though they built outside
There's
hospitals.
1.4 billion people.
They built hospitals in 7 days.
I mean, you could throw up a steel frame building quickly. You can't fit it out and fill it with equipment and staff that quickly, though.
Yes.
Either way, from what I'm hearing, the price of stuff and the unavailability of stuff, well, it's the unavailability of stuff driving the price up.
Yeah, exactly.
Due to the lockdowns and the fact that people can't be making this stuff.
Yeah.
So the stuff that's in storage or has been made, the price will go up because, well, if we sell them at the price that we usually sell them at, they'll be gone and there'll be nothing. So
also in this country, like most people have had COVID by now. Like we've ended up just getting ill, whereas China's just disinfected the streets and barricaded people in their houses. And I've got an email from Cadex that arrived 2 days back saying the company has been working overtime since receiving the order to ensure that you receive and use it in the shortest possible time. However, due to the change of China's anti-epidemic policy, the epidemic is still raging and spreading in China. Gradually, 80% of the Chinese people are infected with the virus and cannot return to work normally, which seriously affects the production progress. This is beyond our normal cognition. So they are still suffering because they've had this isolation policy. When they lift isolation, it just knocks everyone out. You know, they're all in bed for ages and they're still trying to get over that by the sound of it.
Yeah. But at least, I mean, a lot of people in China have had a vaccine, not as many as in other places. The take-up has not been good. From what I hear, all the vaccine centers are fully booked at the moment in China. So you can't even try and get a vaccine even if you want it, because everyone now is like, well, we didn't need a vaccine before because, you know, we've got this isolation. And now they've lifted the vaccination. Now they've lifted the lockdown or changed the policy for the lockdown. So everyone's like rushing to go and get a vaccine. So it's.
I think there's a lot of guilt there as well. So it's, you know, about going over more stuff than needs to be done, going above and beyond where
it was too over the top.
Initially, it wasn't, if you know what I mean. So I think they're trying to overcompensate for that, but it's really affecting business. So
I mean, history and the benefit of hindsight.
Yes,
you know, at the time that they came up with their lockdowns, like, we don't want it spreading anywhere. You know, it's a fairly reasonable precaution to take, right? But once you realise that you can't stop it spreading, then it's like maybe they're a little bit too slow in changing their policy.
Yeah. And we're going to get one of those things to flip it around. Like our government was vicious. If you think about it, they're like, oh, we care about the economy. We're just going to let people get COVID. And, you know, very few people died from flu last year before last, because they all died from COVID. Like all the old people that might have been carried off by flu were already dead from COVID.
Yeah. Should have just locked down the old and the vulnerable, and that was it. Let everyone get on with it.
We're definitely going to get one of those Wikipedia link things under this show now, aren't we?
I got it for 4 days and I was over it. I was out walking the dog.
I had it for 6 months, man.
Stop talking about COVID. Talk about anything else.
Drone stuff. Someone ask me more questions. Come on, I don't want to show every other day.
SARS-2 instead. Should be fine.
So, what's your latest build? What are you flying these days, Dom? What's your general everyday flyer?
You can't fly it. Let's put it that way.
What can you talk us about? Rather than we're not playing the what's my big secret game. What do you enjoy flying that you can talk about?
Either a car.
Okay, I can tell you what I'm flying. There we go. This is what I've been flying recently.
I Let's have a look.
What have we got there? A little ultralight.
It's not even got one of my flight controllers on it. That's what a disgrace this situation.
It's a funny looking thing. It
Dom,
looks like a
what's
Beta
going
FPV battery there, the blue and white battery.
No, this is a random thug frame that I was sent. I don't even know what's happening to thug frames.
You're not Dominic Clifton's flying fet deck.
I was going to say that looked like fet deck.
No, this is a Maytech 8743 Mini, some crappy old FR Sky transmitter, some crap motors with some really bad props. But the point is that it's not supposed to be good because it's not running flight control software that you can get on the internet.
Ooh.
Is it the dark web? Is that where everything is now?
No.
Was it written by an AI?
It's not available to
GPT
anybody.
thing, write me flight controller software, and it just spewed out a load of someone else's work, and you're like, oh, done there.
This is what Dom's been doing over the last 2 years. He's got a wall of GPUs, and it's all doing machine AI learning, and it's all just
writing stuff for me. Yeah, that'd be
nice. Exactly.
And keep your house warm.
Yeah. That's why the solar panels. That's what they're for.
That's right. That's it. I need that. I need the electricity for the power generation. Have you seen these? What do they call it? Supercomputer.
Robot army.
Yeah. Have you seen where they get AI to do? They get AI to do like graffiti and stuff and write stories. And didn't they do like a Rick and Morty one where they got AI to write a Rick and Morty episode? It's getting pretty interesting. I'm obsessed.
I'm pretty sure they could manage Family Guy. Family Guy stories make more sense.
Family Guy doesn't have any stories, but we might be going to the off-topic realm here if I go down.
I was to get on topic. I'd say I also have that H743 Mini in here running beta flight to be more on topic, and it works a treat. I really like it. It's my favorite little flight controller right now, but they are heinously expensive. Yeah, they work an absolute treat.
We can go off topic and talk about AI and COVID. Who cares?
No, and more interesting thing is, who thinks, other than me, clearly, that the situation that Betaflight 4.4 release candidate 1 doesn't even have any of the SP Racing 87 targets in it currently?
Dom, you know why? Dom? Open sourced your bootloader and all the bits that you're trying to squeeze in, and then everyone looks at your PRs.
Here I am doing all the grunt work with JP Flighter, J Flighter to bring all the H7 stuff to the masses.
You know, there's an H750 target, H750 unified targets there, and then you tried to get the old style target in when someone's written a unified target.
No. We're not even talking about the H730. We're not talking about the H730. I'm talking about the SP Racing 87 Extreme, the SP Racing 87 Nano, and the SP Racing 87 None of those targets can be found
for them?
After I spent like about 2 years
making
all this stuff work and doing all the debugging and all this kind of stuff.
Unified targets, have you written them? For those
this sounds like a Jeremy Paxman interview.
It's interesting you say this, Stephen. It's interesting. Have I written them? Well, whose responsibility is it to actually write them? This is an interesting topic.
The board vendors.
No.
The board vendors. Read the documentation. It says board vendors.
Well, it might do now.
Unless you're a mug like me who goes out of his way to write targets for crap vendors like
Okay. Where did the first unified targets come from? Was it the board vendors? No, it was the maintainers. I thank you. So, where is the unified target for the H7 boards?
It's salty.
I don't like it when Mummy and Daddy argue.
Why have I come
unified targets did not exist at one point in time. The board vendors didn't even know they were coming. Nothing happens, and it's entirely out of their hands. It's like
you don't want to update your PR. This is your nice way of saying you don't want to update your PR.
I'm saying it's not my responsibility, and it's unfinished work by the
strange thing
developers.
Is, it's you that are definitely complaining about it. So
yes.
what you could do would be to update.
Okay, do you think all the other vendors would also be complaining if their targets were suddenly deleted from the repo?
I think a lot of the other vendors have customers who have gone and actually scratched that itch, and so
well,
it's not just the maintainers. There's people who.
I think my doorbell just went.
I think I'm going to have to go and have a sit down.
No,
right.
Fucking
no, I'm a little bit perturbed.
I've written
I'm
a
a little bit
target or
perturbed.
two.
Let me just say. Let me stay there.
I know you're perturbed. I know you're perturbed. We can make it happen, Dom. We can make it happen.
No, eventually I'll have to do it, and that's probably where my Christmas holiday is going to go.
Camera tracking you, Andy. That is sick.
The only thing that if I'd bought one of your boards,
have a wait.
I would
Let's see if it tracks you.
Been the one writing the target, because I've done it for random boards like Racer Star and
but it's not just a random target, in the corner, that's the problem.
Because it doesn't have 8730.
No one else understands how the whole entire boot system and ecosystem works, and the EXT stuff works, other than me.
Yeah, but if you were to, the big beef there is with that bootloader, it's like you're trying to wedge a binary blob into it, and I think if it was just an open source bootloader, then people wouldn't worry about it.
You're talking cross purposes. You're talking about
you're not supposed to see that.
ESP Racing F3, F7
well, you said the
OSD stuff.
You talked about XST support, so that's where I was following from.
No, but all the 8750 targets that currently exist in Betaflight have every single one have required a bootloader, because the 8750 requires a bootloader.
Yeah.
All of the targets require a bootloader. It doesn't matter who makes it. They all do.
Nothing.
It's not like the 8743 and the F7 that don't need a bootloader. It's a different story.
There was this discussion as to how we can detect the flash chip and everything ahead of time.
Can't we all just be friends?
Into the firmware. I think a lot of this discussion that has happened in a PR already. I don't know if we're just retreading old ground there. Because I pinged you the details of that PR for H750 support.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. I saw that coming. I saw that, and I was been following that. And it's like, well, you can't really have a unified target for H750.
What's it following, Andy?
It's a catch-22 situation with who knows about the resources. Nobody does. Well, how am I even running?
Yeah, so what they've done to get around that is there's a way of embedding some of that, the resource stuff into the unified. So you don't have a single.
But it's not a unified target at that point. Let's be real about this.
Well, you've split it up by CPU type, and then you've got a resource mappings file. You haven't got a C file that specifies everything. You've got the resources list and a bunch of this driver and this driver and this driver.
We could do this. We could just remove both of them.
Very rude.
Very mature.
No, it's an interesting situation that the Betaflight ecosystem and project finds itself in right now. Like when the concept of unified targets first appeared, I'm like, well, I don't think this is ever really going to work. And now what you've got is absolutely loads of code bloat that no one really needs, because now you can have a unified target, which isn't a unified target. It's a cloud build target. It's like a target with random settings that come from a random file that someone somewhere has to build, which is what it always was. And there's not really a unified target anymore, right? So every single build for every single target going forwards isn't really a unified target. It's just a cloud build target.
Yeah.
Even the current unified targets are essentially cloud build targets
with driver specific defines, right? So it's just the unified target.
It's more than that. It's more than that.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive
because
because you've got a set of defines that are passed to the compiler, to the make script, which conditionally includes a whole bunch of stuff which they don't do on a unified target.
The hash
defines. And now you've got a whole bunch of code sitting on your flight control software to deal with the fact that resources are supposed to be configurable, but really they don't need to be configurable anymore, because you can just put them in the bloody unified target configuration anyway, i.e. passed and the compile time option to the target, which is what they all were to begin with. So now you don't need any of this resource mapping malarkey. Now you're carrying around a flight control code where you can't fit all the things in it because it's got all this cruft you don't need for resource management, where you don't even need the resource management anymore because you've got a cloud build now. Wait, no, cloud build shouldn't be inverted quotes. Only unified target should be. I'm getting it all wrong.
All right, that didn't share very well.
Eh.
I know what you mean, but the thing is, you're trying to stop people writing just arbitrary C code. That's the trouble. You don't want people to write arbitrary C code and say, this is my board. It's got a special thing with a bunch of hacky C code in it.
That's different. There's target-specific code. That's one thing, right? And there's target configuration code is another thing. This
is my janky all-in-one flight controller.
Right, but what's it? So now you've got all this resource.
So you've got your resources.
Yeah, line 13
this is unified target.
None of this needs to be on the fly configurable anymore.
I think you two should.
Because you can just build a target with what you want.
I reckon, Tony. Right, if they got a room. And like after a couple of hours, some erotic
that is the only
difference. Something erotic would happen.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like a mishmash.
This is the only difference, right? These lines at the top.
They're not even listening to us.
That is a fundamental landscape shift of mountainous proportions. It is not the only difference. It's a massive thing.
Except it is the only difference. It's these 5 lines here. Yeah, it really is.
No,
like the rest of the file is exactly
of
the
unified
same.
targets and resource management has just been thrown out the window by cloud build.
Except, dude, in actual terms, what you've done is you've got 5 extra lines.
Give it an hour.
No, Stephen, you're just trying to goad me now. Just stop it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to explain the idea here. Like you've got the trouble was for a specific board type for like this. That's fine because you've got a mega flash.
Who will say I love you first?
For F411,
do we have a bet?
You're getting to the point where all this crap. You had
let's
6000. You had
okay, Stephen, hold on.
You had BMI 270,
Tony, Andy.
BMI 160.
Hello.
What do you think is the difference between a cloud build and a unified target?
Andy, over to you.
I think you're having a lovely discussion, and I'm hoping it ends up in some erotic ending. So I'm not sure about clouds. I mean, they're in the air, as far as I know.
Wait, I mean,
sorry,
okay, fair enough. It's not.
Ask the question again. Ask the question.
What is the difference between a cloud build and a unified target?
I think you should just kiss and
love
each other.
That's way too.
That's all it is, mate.
For me, cloud build, something that uses a someone else's processing equipment over the cloud. No, that's wait. How do I zoom out? I've done myself.
It's because you've done that, Andy. Not zoom in.
It's fine.
Yeah, but it won't. Come on, zoom. No, I've turned it off now, so it's stuck on my horribly zoomed.
It was just a do or die situation, Dom. It was like either we can't include all the drivers anymore.
I know. But the point is that I saw this do or die situation before unified targets even existed, and it was shot down. And now here we are today, 1,000 years later, going, oh yeah.
It's an abstraction, man. It's an abstraction to make it easier to do things that
we
people
could leave and leave them chatting. Ready? Watch this.
Yeah, we could. Tony, don't do it. Don't do it.
Sorry.
Legged it.
Is that relevant? What I said is it relevant?
You didn't say what the difference was between the unified target and a cloud build.
To me, a cloud build is something that uses a server or a computer or whatever to build a thing, and then you said a target. Was that a target build?
No, a unified target.
A unified target.
A unified target.
A unified target would be one that works with multiple, say, boards that have fundamentally the same
you are.
things. No?
Yeah, Pretty much.
So a unified target you can run on lots of different boards.
Yes.
Right.
And then it comes up with the thing about
and now I'm going to ask you another question, a follow-up question to this, because you've got that right. What was the point of creating unified targets in the first place?
Because people were creating all of these different boards with different names, but essentially they were the same thing. No, am I wrong about
that? That wasn't the point. That wasn't the reason that unified targets existed.
One of the reasons.
Stephen, do you know why unified targets existed? What was it trying to solve?
Well, I wasn't in the crowd when it happened, but it looked like they were trying to wrest control of all the different targets back from the board vendors and standardize.
That's not what the issue was. No, I shall give you a refresher.
Good.
The problem that unified targets was trying to solve, which Cloud Builds has undone, was that of multiple in the wild. So many different variations of code that users could have on their boards, all coming up with support requests saying, why doesn't this work? Why doesn't that work? Why doesn't this work? Why doesn't that work? And they'll be like, well, what are you running? Okay, I'm running this target. Yada, yada. That's problem number one. Support issues. Supposed to cut down on it. If you've only got one build, i.e. a unified target build for a F4, right? That's one build. Everybody's got it. You know what code they're running. It's fine. You can go through the code. You can put a breakpoint in. You can go recreate the problem. Yada yada yada. And it's super simple. If they've got target X and the developer doesn't have target X, how are they going to recreate the problem? They can't recreate the problem because they don't have the same hardware and they can't put it in the same conditions that the user has got. Right. So you have one bit of code that everybody's got, and it solves the problem of being able to recreate the problems when problems occur. That's one of the key issues that we were trying to solve as developers. Right, Cloud Builds undoes that because now everybody's got all the different code again, and you can't recreate the environment that they're running it on because they've got a cloud build with a bunch of different things ticked, and it's a completely different code base from a unified target base. Right, so now you've got to, I've got to have the same cloud build settings as the user had, and now you're doing that. The second thing, the second thing that it was trying to solve was that of pull request build times and such like. And this is the other thing. So I make a change. I have to say, does it compile? Does it compile? If you've only got 5 targets, i.e. all the unified targets, and you build all the unified targets, you go, yes, it compiles. How long did it take me? Okay, a few minutes. It only had to build 5 targets. Can I get back onto writing more new code now? Yes. The developer feedback time to writing new code and making changes and making sure they work across the entire set of targets was one of the main issues with like getting new pull requests in and fixing problems. It's like you couldn't do it because you had to build 50, 60 targets, right? How long does it take to build 50, 60 targets? A long time. Is everybody going to do it on their own machines? No. What do? They submit a pull request, wait for it to fail. All the resources then go onto the pull request resource. People get sloppy at writing their code. I know because I've done this myself. I'm like, well, I'm not going to build all the things locally. I'm just going to submit a pull request and see what happens. Lazy, bad, no good. Cloud Build brings that problem back again because now you can't test your bit of code on the random set of things that everyone else has got.
Yes, you can. You can still do the unified build.
You can't because you don't know what settings people are going to do and how many different defines are there and what is the combinatorial number of all the different possible combinations of all the different settings you could have. It's a really, really, really big number, and there is no way that you can do that as a developer.
So, yeah, we need to. The defines should be to enable or disable mutually exclusive specific features, right? The driver. You add a driver. You add support for a specific hack, like my DGI hacks or like the AKK VTX hacks.
It's not. That's simplifying it a lot.
You can still build.
In terms of a protocol level, in terms of like a protocol level, it's not quite so bad, right? Yeah. So if you have, I want to compile it with Crossfire enabled, or I want to compile it with Ghost enabled, or I want to compile it with ELS enabled. That's not quite so, or FR Sky actually, because
and you've got to remember, like we've had Crossfire V2, Crossfire V3, Ghost.
Yeah, but that's at a much higher level in the code base.
A ton of different gyros, and there's this constant increase in the amount of supported hardware to the point where F722 and F411, F411 now has SPI ELRS stuff in there as well as everything else. Like, there's just a ton of stuff to fit in there. And
no,
so
don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is
or you can't build anything.
An easy problem to solve. I personally thought that unified targets are the wrong direction for the project to go in, and I've been proved right by the fact that cloud builds now currently exist.
Well, it's easy to be a critic. It's really hard to come up with.
I was not just a critic, key developer doing loads of stuff.
Well, okay, but the point you put across here isn't like that you're championing another cause. It's that
cloud builds are really,
so what
quite
would
frankly,
the alternative
the only option. No, cloud builds are the only option. It's the only thing you can do. But the problem still exists. The unified targets we're trying to solve, and people spent about 2 years trying to create unified targets, and the entire beta file development system slowed down to a crawl, and now you only get yearly releases because of the fact that unified targets came along. Right. This is when things went pear-shaped.
The long way of saying round is what you really wanted were cloud builds all along, and now we've got cloud builds, and now you couldn't be happier with Betaflight, and it's amazing. And we're really looking forward to seeing you come and submit these new SB racing targets. It's going to be amazing. Thank you, Dom.
No, what I'd like to see is all the unified target code that now doesn't need to exist be deleted from the code base, and the unified target be renamed to targets. Because the repository's got the wrong name now. It's not a unified target repository anymore. It's just targets. This is funny shit, right?
Well, Tony, you're probably not watching anymore. But...
migraine. I hope his brain's all right.
I waited
don't
for
leak,
the 2 hour
don't leak.
Wait, I've still got my headphones on, but I need more beer.
I'll good, because I want to stay.
I can still hear you though. I can still hear you.
I waited for the 2 hour mark, Tony, and they never ended up having sex. So I think I'm going to call it there.
Oh dear!
If they do,
wait, you have to wait till I get back with my beer.
Oh really? Oh what? It still could
happen.
Should
we call it there? You finished? You're all made up now.
Wait! I'm in the fridge. I've got a beer.
I'm gonna head off, but I'll see if the
episode 382 Hydra's in the fridge.
If all the stars align, but thanks for having me on. Even though I know absolutely.
Thanks, Andy. Sorry for the big protracted nerd out. I just wanted.
No, man. I was enjoying it.
Yeah, but who else is going to say this though, right? No one else is going to say this.
Yeah.
To be fair, like how many times do people have rants about, the core development team of Betaflight have rants about stuff?
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it.
Well, you're banned.
No.
Because they're ranting about you, Don.
No, I was for a while.
Yeah. Oh, you're now back in now.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, right? I'm gonna leave, but if you guys are gonna stay, I'm gonna listen upstairs because I'm getting tired. I'm going to listen upstairs, but it's...
there's only so long you can listen to me ranting about stuff.
No, I want to listen. It's just that I feel like me sat here, being on the chair, hoping for some sort of erotica. It's just not going to happen. So, but I want to listen to the conversation.
Maybe
I can't add anything to it because I'm so much... maybe OnlyFans. Yeah,
you've had your extra half an hour. I'm calling it there.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
No,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
You can talk after.
Definitely Merry.
Fine. You've got the link. You can just join and then just listen to them.
Now get your sacks out and let's see what we've all got.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. Merry Christmas from Let's Drone Out. You've been joined by Stephen.
Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
Dominic Clifton.
Bye. I did my wave too early.
The lovely ANDYRC.
Bye.
My darling wife who's here, and I've been Brighton to Life Live. Thank you guys.
Wait,
good night.
Where is he?
Wait.
He's hiding in the background.